Well, hello. I'm in the vlog cabin again. I've got my recording sign on. That doesn't stop interruptions by passing planes, as you'll maybe hear, or neighbourhood dogs, and so on. But I want to speak to you today about a dream I had last night. It was quite a disturbing dream in some ways, and I just want to share it with you and leave it with you, and you can make of it what you will. I dreamt that I was observing a country road, and the country road had some rubble beside it, and on top of the rubble was lying a sculpture which seemed to be of an eagle, a magnificent eagle, actually, a huge eagle that had been wounded in flight, and that's what the sculpture was of. And driving past the sculpture was a Mini, and the Mini seemed just continued its way as though the occupants of the Mini were quite disinterested in this magnificent sculpture of this wounded eagle. Let me try and interpret that for you as best as I can, and leave it with you to see what you make of it. And if you want to pray about it, pray about it. If you want to dismiss it, dismiss it. But in my picture language, eagles represent the prophetic side of a relationship with God. In other words, knowing what God knows, hearing what God is saying, seeing what God is seeing as He looks upon the present, and just seeing, hearing, and speaking from His point of view. Cars in my dreams represent ministry. I don't think this was a dream specifically about my ministry. I seem to be an observer in it, so I may be part of it, although it was not specifically about me. And putting these two sort of images of the car and the magnificent wounded eagle together, I think God was saying to me that Scotland is ignoring its prophetic heritage. That this knowing what God knows and seeing what God sees and hearing what God is saying is very much part of a Scottish spiritual identity. Our past is full of people who seem to hear and see and know from a heavenly point of view, and declared it to men and women, whether they wanted to hear it or not, and sometimes suffered for such prophetic ministry. Were often murdered by church authorities, or even just despised by church leadership, occasionally honoured, but mostly despised. So that was the dream I had, that somehow Scotland is ignoring the prophetic element of spiritual life that was once part of our heritage. I'm not sure what to do with that. I wonder if I, and maybe some of you, if you're so led, listening to this, if we need to just come before God and repent of that, and ask that somehow that element of our heritage might still be allowed to be part of our destiny, that we might be given a chance again as a nation under God to hear the word of the Lord and to declare that word. There was a verse that seemed to go with the dream, And it was just a voice crying in the wilderness. That was all, a voice crying in the wilderness. What shall I cry? That question was unanswered. But the verse was there, a voice crying in the wilderness. What shall I cry? So I leave that with you. It's an unusual vlog. But I ask you to, especially if you're living in Scotland, whether you're Scottish or not by birth, if you're living in Scotland, well, that's because that's the will of God for you at this moment. So if you're living in Scotland, I offer that dream to you. And if you want to just discount it, discount it. But if you want to hold it before God and see if He's asking anything of you in response to what I've shared, then do that. And God bless you as you do.